It's time for Debrief, TRT World's wrap-up of the top stories from last week.
Police came and asked for documents, and we will continue.
Enough of you doing
Series of attacks.
it's because I'm working on my
Dream team!
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
The United States President Donald Trump has announced that the US military forces have dropped bombs on 3 key Iranian nuclear facilities.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace.
Just hours after America struck Iran, Tehran launched a new wave of attacks across Israel.
Israel has been paralyzed for 10 days now. The economy has been paralyzed. The whole country has been basically waiting near shelters.
It's always been Netanyahu's ambition to get the US to carry out this attack.
Breaking developments right now out of the Gulf. Iran has launched attacks on US military bases in Qatar.
The US and Qatar confirmed the attack on the Al Udeid base. No casualties have been reported.
And now Trump is saying that there's going to be a ceasefire, which is what he wanted. The difficult part of this was to make Israel go along with it. And from what we can see now, it seems like he's also got Israel to go along with this.
Doesn't look like it is happening. From the way things are transpiring, we see that a new wave of strikes has been unleashed by the Israelis towards Iran.
Both sides exchanged heavy fire, and we heard, Israeli side killing another nuclear scientist in Iran.
The US has ordered Israel now to not drop those bombs after it ordered powerful strikes on Iran.
I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. They don't know what they're doing.
The American president is saying there'll be talks with Iran next week to discuss Tehran's nuclear ambitions. The ceasefire between Israel and Iran, announced by Donald Trump earlier this week, it's holding as the president insists Iran's ability to build a nuclear bomb has been obliterated.
4 days of questions have followed since Donald Trump said Iran's ability to create a nuclear bomb had been obliterated.
Given the power of these munitions, it is likely they caused serious damage to both facilities. How much damage, though, is hard to assess. Imagery captured prior to the attack showed trucks lined up at the facility. Iran also claims it had evacuated the facility.
This report acknowledges it's likely severe damage. Again, this is preliminary, but leaked because someone had an agenda to try to muddy the waters and make it look like this historic strike wasn't successful. And the reality is you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated. Choose your word.
The Iranian parliament has voted to suspend cooperation with the UN nuclear watchdog.
Iran has denied it will resume formal nuclear talks with the United States next week, contradicting an earlier claim by President Donald Trump.
It seems that Iranians at the moment are trying to assess the damage at their nuclear facilities, and according to that, they may decide whether to take part or not to take part in future diplomacy with the United States.
I feel it is necessary to offer congratulations to the great nation of Iran for the victory over the fake Zionist regime. Despite all the noise and all the claims, it was nearly brought to its knees and crushed under the blows of the Islamic Republic.
Each of us should be prepared to know how to escape, how to protect ourselves, how to prepare to take care of ourselves.
American unreliability has reawakened European self-defense.
Well, I've said that to them. I said, if you're not going to pay, we're not going to defend.
I will propose an overall investment plan that will total 5% of GDP in defense investment.
NATO leaders are gathering in the Netherlands for what is shaping up to be the shortest yet most expensive summit in history. We will centre on a single session where most allies will commit to increased defence spending.
Do you think hard power is going to be the way forward?
I was impressed when President Trump came on board that he broke the deadlock with Putin, that he started to have a conversation with him. And he's the only one who successfully could do that.
Rutte was questioned about some of his effusive praise for Trump, which included calling the US president a good friend and a daddy intervening in a schoolyard brawl.
And then daddy has to sometimes use strong language to get stuff.
He's broken the code. He has figured out how to handle Donald Trump. Essentially, you need to praise him quite a bit.
Ahead of the summit, NATO chief Mark Rutte announced that all member states have agreed to spend 5% of their defense budgets. That's more than double the previous 2% target.
The new framework splits spending into 3.5% on core defense like troops and weapons, with 1.5% on broader measures like cybersecurity.
Trump has cast some doubt on his journey here as to whether Article 5 will be respected by the US in the future. Of course, when one ally is attacked, the other allies come to its defense.
Are you still committed to Article 5 of NATO?
It depends on your definition. There's numerous definitions of Article 5, you know that, right? But I'm committed to being their friends.
They've acted because of Donald Trump's pressure, and all those European countries, with the exception of Spain, it has to say, have pledged to get their spending up to 5%.
And here's another serving of top stories with our news in brief. Another week, another war crime in Gaza. While Israel's attack on Iran pulled international focus away from the Strip, Tel Aviv's ethnic cleansing campaign there hasn't stopped. Since late May, over 550 Gazans have been killed at or near aid distribution points, coordinated by the US-backed NGO that calls itself the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. But a new Harvard Dataverse study led by Israeli researcher Yaakov Garb has confirmed what many have long alleged. These aren't aid sites. They're kill funnels, concentration points that lure starving civilians, then strike. On Sunday, UNRWA Commissioner General Philippe Lazarini's comments made his official opinion clear. These points aren't safer, they're sinister. The same study, based on Israeli military data, estimates more than 377,000 Gazans have disappeared since October 2023. Population statistics reveal they're not part of the official death count. Half of them are children.
The newly created so-called aid mechanism is an abomination that humiliates and degrades desperate people. It is a death trap costing more lives than it saves.
On Sunday, a devastating church bombing in Damascus. At least 25 people were killed and more than 60 injured when a gunman and suicide bomber attacked the Mar Elias Greek Orthodox Church during evening mass. The ISIS-linked group Saraya Ansar al-Sunnah claimed responsibility, marking one of the deadliest attacks on Christians in the capital in years. The patriarch of the Antiochian Orthodox Church accused the Syrian government of failing to protect religious minorities. The terror attack itself might serve as a warning. The state's still fractured, and the cracks are showing. In New York, Zohran Mamdani just pulled off the political upset of the year. The 33-year-old Indian-American state assemblyman won last Monday's Democratic mayoral primary, knocking out former Governor Andrew Cuomo by a solid margin, despite Cuomo's billionaire backers. Mamdani is a very controversial candidate in the U.S. He's Muslim, he's a socialist, he's unapologetically pro-Palestinian, and he's a big supporter of ranked choice voting, a system that could break the two-party chokehold on elections, making them more democratic. But he didn't win despite the controversy. He likely won because of it, openly touting his stances with a clever and authentic social media strategy. And his victory has made waves worldwide as a point of hope for many, including immigrants, as the Trump administration rattles and removes the guardrails protecting their human rights. But New Yorkers will have to wait until the mayoral election in November to know for sure. And don't forget our programs, Africa Matters, Money Talks, and Beyond the Game.
Just like the DRC, more African countries appear to be taking control using resource nationalism by either nationalizing their critical minerals, banning their export, renegotiating existing mining contracts or increasing taxes and royalties. Let's take a closer look. On June 11th, Burkina Faso finalized the transfer of 2 gold mines and 3 exploration licenses to the country's state-owned miner. A few days later, a court in Mali placed Canada's Barrick Mining Loulo-Gounkoto Gold Complex under provisional administration for 6 months of an ongoing tax dispute. In May this year, Tanzania banned the export of about 40 unprocessed critical and strategic minerals needed for the global energy transition, making it mandatory for medium or large-scale mining projects to include a local value addition plan. In 2023, Namibia banned the export of unprocessed minerals and rare earth elements, while in 2022, Zimbabwe, which has the largest reserves in Africa, banned raw lithium exports to allow for local processing and battery precursor production.
Cryptocurrency is gaining a lot of attention in the financial market of North Macedonia, but with no clear laws to guide it, many are concerned. Experts say investing in crypto can be risky as people often don't fully understand how it works. This comes as the chance to make fast money continues to draw many into the market.
North Macedonia is aiming to become a hub for digital innovation by engaging major crypto players. But despite outreach efforts, the country lacks a clear legal framework for cryptocurrencies, raising concerns about how far it can really go.
If you own cryptocurrency, there's no clear way to bring that money into the financial system. Attempting to deposit it into the banking system would result in improper taxation.
Yes, this year's NBA Finals had everything basketball fans could hope for. High, intense action on the court, 2 exciting teams, a full 7 games, and in the end, a worthy champion. The Thunder finally sealed the deal at home on Sunday. 103-191 Game 7 win has taken us all victory over the Indiana Pacers in Oklahoma City. Meanwhile, the swing of almost winning the championship couldn't have been worse for the visitors. Not only did they miss out on their first title, but they also lost their all-star guard, Tyrese Haliburton, to a gruesome Achilles tendon injury in the first quarter. OKC's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was named Finals MVP, the 5th other guard in NBA history to claim those honours. So the Thunder winning further shows just how different the NBA has become in recent times. Prior to 2019, the league was the playground for dynasties. The Warriors, the Heat, the Spurs, the Lakers. But since 2019, the Raptors won their first championship. The Larry O'Brien Trophy has changed hands every season since then, with the Thunder now the recent owners. And this comparison speaks volumes to the new NBA. In David Stern's 30 years as the league's commissioner, there were only 8 different champions. In Adam Silver's 12 seasons, there have been already 9 different winners.